Alexis visits the Quartermain estate to meet Monica, but Jason informs her that she is not expecting visitors today. Alexis believes this is critical, and Monica may be the only person who can help her. Alexis tells that Drew is relocating to Washington, D.C., and will be accompanied by Scout. Taking Scout away from her family isn't fair to Scout or Sam's memory, and Drew is just concerned with his own desires and needs. Alexis wanted to speak with Monica since her opinion of Drew, next to Willow's, is the only one that counts to him. She begs Jason to speak with Monica and asks her to stop Drew from moving to D.C. for Scout and Sam. Drew has boundary issues. Drew storms into the staff lounge at Jitch and begs Liz to tell him how Willow is doing. Liz informs him that she is working hard to rebuild her life, and that she requires time and space from him in order to heal. Drew refuses to leave her alone when the world is against her and she has lost everything. Liz maintains Willow is not alone and hasn't lost everything. Drew complains about Curtis ruining his life with Willow, but Liz argues Curtis was only doing what he thought was best for Willow. Drew asks Liz if she believes Willow is better off now. Liz just knows she's making decisions based on the truth now, and the best he can do is give her the time and space she requested. Drew despises what is going on, but he would hate it much more if Willow didn't have Liz right now. Too close for Stella? At the nurse's station, Isaiah, who has just survived a 10-hour surgery, is relieved to discover Portia is still present. She is relieved to inform that she will not be leaving, and that her relationship with Curtis has improved. Portia hopes that Isaiah is building a life for himself outside of the hospital. He adds that he spends most of his time sprucing up the cabin Lucky gave him. He decides to go for a walk in the park to get some fresh air before coming home. After Isaiah leaves, Portia turns back to see Stella, who has a concerned expression. Stella wonders how close she and Dr. Gannon are. Portia clarifies that he is a co-worker and a friend, but Stella is concerned that their connection may be interpreted as professional wrongdoing. Portia insists on setting clear limits with everyone who works with her. Portia understands Stella is merely looking out for her. She informs her that she and Curtis are working on their relationship, and that their disagreement has nothing to do with Dr. Gannon. Friends again or something more. Jordan and Curtis cross paths while jogging in the park and realize they can't continue to ignore each other. Curtis informs her that he and Portia have discussed it and are going to work to repair their marriage, and he believes they owe it to her. Curtis claims she stopped them from sliding back into their shared nostalgia, but she points out that he also agreed to take a step back. Jordan believes that now that everything has been handled, they may be able to continue their friendship. Curtis inquires about her current status with Sidwell. She admits she has never been better. Jordan explains that she finds the job challenging, that she is earning more money than ever before, and that she is enjoying the perks while working to bring Sidwell down. She also just helped strengthen her cover with him by putting down money on a luxury condo suited for a wealthy COO. Can Dante, Lulu, and Albrecht call a truce? Dante and Lulu enter in Laura's office. They presume Laura, who is in another meeting, wants to speak with them about Rocco. Laura eventually arrives, having just put Ezra in his place at a city council meeting. She advises them that, for Rocco's sake, they should make peace with Albrecht. Lulu doesn't want Rocco near that woman, but Laura believes Rocco needs proof that the woman who gave birth to him wasn't a bad person. Lulu insists she was, but Laura claims Britt was more than just that. Laura claims that if she bans Rocco from speaking with Albrecht, he will go behind their backs to visit her. Dante informs Lulu that Laura is correct. Laura advises they find a safe way for Rocco to meet with Albrecht and determine what he requires. Lulu urges her mother to arrange a meeting with Albrecht. Albrecht soon arrives and everyone takes seats in Laura's office. Albrecht maintains her primary concern is Rocco's well-being. She adds that Rocco sought her out, but she confesses she appreciated the chance to reunite with him. She always left it up to Rocco to decide her role in his life. Dante explains that Rocco is 15 years old. Therefore his parents will decide what role she will have in his life till he reaches adulthood. Lulu reveals that they thought Albrecht could come to her house to meet with Rocco while the two of them were present. Albrecht views this as a supervised meeting and inquires whether she is required to provide a transcript of what she intends to say first. Lulu explains that precautions must be in place. Albrecht goes off because she just wants what Laura has had time to do: create a relationship with Rocco. Lulu points out that Rocco has two grandmothers, But Albrecht is not one of them. Albrecht claims Britta carried Rocco, so her blood is in his veins. Some argue that Britta is Rocco's mother in addition to being his grandmother. Anna tries her luck at the Metro Court. Carly and Jack kiss, and she recommends a weekend of wine sampling in the Finger Lakes. Anna interrupts, explaining that she and Carly have unfinished business. Carly scolds her for ghosting her the other night and asks what she wants now. Jack becomes concerned, but Anna just says Lucas came to the PCPD to report that Sonny took Marco and asks if she has any knowledge on the matter. Carly screams she isn't doing this and rushes off to the kitchen to confront the cook. Jack asks Anna what the hell it was all about. Anna wanted to test how he'd react if she told Carly about his recruiting her daughter. He claims doing so would be treasonous. Anna understands her hands are tied, but if anything happens to Joss, she will tell Carly the truth. Anna storms off. Pascal gets handsy with Britt at the Five Poppies. Pascal discovers Britt reclining on a lounge chair out on deck. He tells her she should be at the lab since he is awaiting results. Britt says to inform him that she is on strike. Britt notifies Pascal that the lab's air circulation isn't working properly, and she will be unable to work until it is corrected. When Pascal later reports that the circulation has been restored, Britt claims it is too late, and that she has had too many cocktails and needs to sleep. Pascal becomes violent, grabs her, and promises her that there are ways to help her sober up. In the show's final moments, Jason informs Alexis that Monica has said she will try to contact Drew. Alexis hopes it works. At the hospital, Portia informs Stella that she and Curtis have been struggling, but they would fight for their marriage. They embrace, which Drew notices from afar. He takes out his phone and phones someone to begin an insurance fraud probe. What did poor Stella do to him? There goes the truce. Jordan shows Curtis her new skyscraper in the skyline and tells him she'll have a complete view of the port. Curtis claims it will be just like her home in Baltimore. As they converse, Isaiah enters and notices them together, looking cozy. In Laura's office, Dante informs Albrecht that she will not be allowed to see Rocco, and that she is insane. He knows who she is, remembers her playing mind games with him, and promises to find every arrest warrant for her and lock her up unless she flees town right away. She asks, channeling the wicked Dr. O, how he will explain to Rocco that he has imprisoned the only person who can provide the answers he craves. Carly brings wine to Brennan at Metro Court as a preview of the upcoming weekend. As they toast, Brennan admits that he hasn't been completely honest with her. Britt tells Pascal at the Five Poppies that he would not like him to treat her like this. Suddenly, Joss and Vaughn arrive. Britt's back is to them, so Vaughn asks Pascal if this is where they check in. Finally, Anna comes at the Q's mansion and informs Jason that he must find Britt as quickly as possible. The General Hospital recap is set for Friday, August 8, 2025. In this episode, Anna Devane threatens Jack Brennan. Liesl Albrecht and Lulu Spencer meet. Stella Henry also caught Portia Robinson flirting. General Hospital recap Friday, August 11th. Britt in danger, Anna's threat. Dante blasts Liesl. Alexis Davis's plea. Jason Morgan and Alexis Davis cross paths at the Quartermaine house. Monica Quartermaine is not receiving guests today. Alexis has something really essential to tell her, and she may be the only one who can assist. It is about Drew Kane relocating Scout Kane to DC. Alexis begins telling Jason about the situation with Drew and Scout. Alexis asks Jason to speak with Monica about Scout. Do it for Sam McCall, she urges. Drew Kane's revenge. Drew attacks Elizabeth, Liz Baldwin at the hospital. He is seeking information about Willow Tate. The nurse claims to be attempting to rebuild her life. Drew denies ruining her life. The congressman only wants Willow to know the truth. Wow, he sounds exactly like my ex-husband. Drew calls someone after he departs. He wants to initiate an insurance fraud probe. Portia Robinson flirts. Portia praises Isaiah Gannon's surgical skills. The surgeon is pleased to find Portia still at the hospital. She has no plans to depart. He's pleased to hear it. Gannon tells her about the cabin he is remodeling. When Isaiah leaves, Portia turns back to find Stella staring at her. Portia calls Isaiah a friend, but Stella reminds her that he is her boss. General Hospital recap Friday, August 11th. Britt in danger, Anna's threat. Dante blasts Liesl. Jordan Ashford's apartment. Jordan Ashford and Curtis Ashford run into each other while running. Curtis believes avoiding each other is stupid. They talk, and Curtis says he has worked things out with Portia. Jordan is delighted for him, despite her emotions. She's such a sophisticated lady. Jordan tells him she has made a down payment on an apartment. The walkthrough is next week, and Curtis offers to accompany us. They stand up and Jordan points to her new flat. She has a complete view of the bay, much as in Baltimore. Lulu Spencer versus Liesl Albrecht. Dante Falconeri and Lulu are in Laura's office. She wanted to meet with them, but they don't understand why. The mayor is finishing off a meeting. Dante says it could be about Rocco Falconeri. Laura Collins dashes in out of breath. She was putting Ezra Boyle in his place during a city council meeting. Laura says it's about Rocco. Please make peace with Liesl. Lulu is horrified. The mayor understands how Lulu and Dante feel, but Rocco feels differently. Dante believes there must be someone better than Liesl for Rocco to talk to. Laura suggests that Liesl is the best in some ways. Lulu and Laura argue over whether Britt Westbourne was an awful, horrible devil. The mayor implies that Britt did something wrong, but she may have done more. Lulu appears perplexed. When Laura mentions that this is about Rocco, who is the most important person in this equation, Lulu agrees. Can the mayor schedule a meeting with Liesl? Liesl comes and everyone discusses the situation. The mayor is having trouble keeping things calm. Liesl's comments regarding Britt are not helping. Lulu requests Liesl come over so she can answer Rocco's inquiries. The doctor clarifies that they are requesting a monitored visit. Will they monitor the questions and answers? The mayor tries once again to keep things peaceful. Dante and Liesl become heated over Britt and Rocco's story. Dante threatens to send Liesl in jail. The detective urges her to leave town. Liesl tells her what Rocco would think of his behavior. Anna Devane's threat. Donna Corinthos is spending the weekend with Sonny Corinthos, so Carly is considering a trip. They discuss where to go. General Hospital recap. Friday, August 11th. Britt in peril. Anna's threat. Dante blasts Liesl. Carly recommends wine tasting if Jack can get out. They kiss. Anna interrupts and informs Carly that they have unfinished business. Carly tells her to reschedule. Carly says Anna can speak with her lawyer. Anna claims she was taken hostage by events while staring at Jack. Carly doesn't see the glance. Carly asks what she wants to talk about. The commissioner responds that it concerns a close family member. Anna claims it is regarding Marco Rio's statement to the police. Carly is fed up. The lady storms off, leaving Jack and Anna alone. They question Anna's behavior. If something happens to Jocelyn Jax, it will be Jack's responsibility. Anna leaves and Carly returns with Bubbly. They mention Jocelyn and then raise a toast. Jack reveals he has been harboring a secret. Britt. Westbourne's close call while relaxing by the pool. She is approached by the resort's boss. What's she doing? She should be at the lab. They're expecting results. Britt comments, isn't it frustrating when expectations aren't met? Oh, good one, Britt. The brunette responds, you can tell him I'm on strike. Later, Britt gets up and informs the resort manager what she wants for supper. As she turns to leave, the man grabs her arm firmly. Britt's eyes widen, indicating a threat. Britt informs him that their boss would not like her being treated this way. She is a troublemaker. Meanwhile, Joss and Vaughn enter the resort pretending to be a couple. Vaughn phones the resort's manager and inquires about their check-in location. Britt isn't turning back and is wearing that large floppy hat, so Joss hasn't recognized her yet. Anna knocks on the Q Mansion's door. She has been thinking about Britt and admits she was wrong. Jason has to find out ASAP. Jason adjusted his weight, his leather jacket creaking as he looked at the note Anna held out. He didn't need to read it again because he had memorized the contents the instant she showed it to him. Britt wasn't just another job for him. She had battled with him, saving lives while also breaking hearts. He owed her something, but he would never say it out loud. Are there any leads? He inquired, his voice low, cutting through the sound of distant ship horns. Anna nodded, taking out a little snapshot from her pocket, a grainy CCTV photograph of a man in a dark suit, his face partially concealed, exiting the warehouse where Britt was last seen. This is all we've got, she said. The PCPD is stretched thin, and I don't trust them with this. Not with Cyrus Renault's influence still lingering in this town. Jason's eyes clouded at the mention of Renault. a name that evoked both old grievances and new threats. If Britt got caught in Renault's web, time was not on their side. Drew Kane sat at his desk in Aurora Media's sleek, modern headquarters across town, his fingers drumming a rhythmic cadence on the glossy wood. The metropolitan skyline shone through the floor-to-ceiling windows, but his focus was on the single file in front of him. The folder was titled Michael Corinthos, and the contents recorded every move the young CEO of ELQ had made in the previous 6 months, including commercial dealings, personal meetings, and even his morning coffee runs. Drew's lips curled into a thin smile, but there was no warmth behind it. Michael had been his brother, ally, and friend, but that was before the betrayals, deceit, and covert power maneuvers that had cast Drew out of the family he'd worked so hard to restore. Michael was now merely a target, a strategically placed piece in Drew's chess game to restore his empire. Drew leaned back in his chair, his mind focused and calculated. He had always been the good soldier, the one who obeyed orders and prioritized family. But family had a habit of turning on you in Port Charles, and Drew had learned that the hard way. He'd lost years of his life to manipulation, memories that weren't his, and a past snatched by forces he couldn't completely comprehend. He was done playing by their rules. Michael's previous actions at ELQ, consolidating control, isolating Drew's allies, had made him the ideal target. Drew didn't desire vengeance exactly. He wanted control, and Michael was the key to achieving it. The strategy was already in motion. A series of strategic leaks to the press, whispers of financial mismanagement that would destroy Michael's credibility. Drew had contacts, people who owed him favors, and he was not above using them to sow seeds of mistrust. Michael would have no idea what had hit him by the end. Back at the docks, Jason was already moving, his thoughts planning the next moves. Finding Britt meant starting at the warehouse, but he knew better than to go there blind. Port Charles was a town based on secrets, and every corner held a trap. He'd need to check in with Spinelli, whose technical skills could help him learn more about the mystery man in the photo. He also had to walk carefully because Anna wasn't the only one watching him. The PCPD, Renault's lingering henchmen, and even Sonny's gang were all keeping an eye on him, waiting for a slip. Jason didn't care about their plans, but he couldn't afford to be caught in their crossfire. Britt's existence hinged on his focus. He stepped aboard his motorcycle, the engine screaming to life as he rode toward the outside of town, the warehouse's address etched in his mind. Anna watched him leave, her heart heavy but her resolve unshakable. She'd spent years pursuing ghosts, unraveling schemes, and confronting foes disguised as friends. Britt was more than simply a friend to her. She served as a reminder of the cost of life, the sacrifices, the losses, and the moments of redemption that came too late. Anna couldn't lose her right now. She turned back toward the city, her phone already in hand, dialing a WSB contact. If Jason was going to find Britt, Anna would make sure he had every resource he needed. But deep down, she understood it wasn't just about Britt. Something bigger was stirring in Port Charles, a shadow moving behind the scenes, and Anna had a bad feeling it was related to the man in the photograph. Meanwhile, Drew's plan was being carried out precisely. He'd arranged a meeting with a journalist, a hungry young reporter from the Invader eager to break a story about ELQ's golden kid. Michael's file included just enough truth to make the lies stick. Irregularities in a recent merger, a suspicious offshore account that did not exist but could be made to appear legitimate. Drew was not naive. He expected Michael to fight back. The Corinthos family always did. But Drew had learned from the greatest, and he was no longer playing for sentiment. He was playing to win. As he closed and secured the file in his desk, his phone vibrated with a text message from an unknown number. Warehouse. Midnight. Come alone. His gaze narrowed. The time was ideal, too convenient. Someone was monitoring him, and they were familiar with his movements. Drew's instincts urged him to disregard it, but curiosity, and the opportunity to gain an advantage, drew him to the bait. At the warehouse, Jason crept stealthily through the shadows, his rifle concealed but not drawn. The structure was a vestige of Port Charles's industrial past, with corroded beams and broken windows creating strange patterns in the moonlight. He'd scanned the perimeter first, noticing a lone black SUV parked at the back entrance with its plates concealed. Someone was present, or had been recently. Inside, the air was thick with dust and a slight odor of oil. Jason's boots made no sound as he walked through the maze of crates and abandoned machinery, his senses alert to every creak and murmur. He discovered Britt's scarf snagged on a sharp piece of metal near a side entrance, which was a minor but telling indication. She had been here, and she had departed quickly. His eyes scanned the darkness, seeing a tiny glitter of something metallic on the floor. A phone with a shattered screen that was still lighting faintly. He crouched to pick it up, and the screen displayed a single message. They know. Run. Miles away. Anna's WSB contact provided the name of the man in the photo. Victor Cassadine. The name chilled her. Victor was meant to be dead, with his plots buried alongside him. But the Cassadines had a way of surviving death, and if Victor returned, Britt was in more jeopardy than Anna had anticipated. She tried calling Jason, but his phone went directly to voicemail. He was already off the grid and far into the assignment. Anna's mind raced as she pieced together the bits of her knowledge. Victor's reappearance, Britt's absence, and the warehouse all hinted at a greater plan that had the potential to devastate Port Charles. She needed to find Jason before he fell into a trap, and she also needed to alert the others. If Victor was after Britt, who else was on his list? Drew arrived at the warehouse shortly before midnight, parking his car a block away to avoid notice. He did not trust the message, but he couldn't rule out the potential that it was related to his intentions. The night was too quiet, and the hair on the back of his neck stood up as he approached the door. He didn't see Jason's motorcycle and didn't realize Jason was already inside, slipping through the shadows like a ghost. Drew's palm lingered on the revolver hidden under his jacket, his senses heightened. He wasn't here to be the hero. He was here to preserve his interests. However, when he entered the warehouse, the faint sound of footsteps halted him in his tracks. Someone else was present, and they weren't attempting to hide. Jason, too, heard the footsteps and tensed up as he hid behind a stack of crates. He had no idea who was approaching, but he recognized the sound of someone who wasn't attempting to be stealthy. That implied either confidence or recklessness, both of which are deadly in a setting like this. He glanced through a crack in the crates and saw Drew's figure in the doorway. Jason's thoughts raced. Drew had no reason to be here, unless he was connected to Britt's disappearance. The idea didn't sit right. Drew wasn't the kind to get his hands dirty with something like this, but Jason had long learned not to believe appearances. He stood still, waiting for Drew to make a move. Drew adjusted his eyes to the dim light, searching the warehouse for the person who had sent the text. He didn't see the scarf, the phone, or Jason observing him from the shadows. But he felt the weight of being watched, the prickling fear that had kept him alive after years of captivity and betrayal. He took a step forward, his voice low and steady. "I received your mail. Show yourself." The words echoed in the empty expanse, unanswered. But in the calm that followed, a new sound emerged. A faint, repetitive tapping, similar to fingers on a keyboard. Drew turned toward it, revolver in hand, and moved deeper into the warehouse. Jason followed from a distance, his instincts screaming that this was a setup. The tapping became louder, leading them both to a small office in the back of the building. Inside, a solitary laptop sat on a desk, its screen displaying a live video of the warehouse interior. Someone was observing them, and had been for the entire time. Jason's gaze shifted to Drew, who was now near enough to see the screen. Their gazes locked for a single second, a nonverbal recognition of the peril they were both in. But before anyone could react, the screen flickered, revealing Victor Cassadine, his smile frigid and smug. "Welcome, gentlemen," he said, his voice crackling over the laptop speakers. "You're just in time." Anna, driving into the warehouse in her automobile, had figured out Victor was playing a long game. Britt was not the objective, she was the bait. Victor wanted Jason, Drew, or both, and he was manipulating Britt to bring them out. Anna grasped the steering wheel, her thoughts racing back to every fight she'd waged against the Cassadines. They thrived on disorder, pitting allies against one another, and Victor was an expert at it. She called Jason's phone again, then Drew's, but neither answered. The warehouse was only minutes away, but she felt she was too late. Inside the warehouse, Jason and Drew stood motionless, Victor's face filling the screen. "You've both been so predictable," Victor observed, his tone full with amusement. Jason, the faithful soldier, is hurrying to help a friend. Drew, the ambitious brother, will stop at nothing to gain power. And Britt, poor reckless Britt, believed she could outwit me. He leaned closer to the camera, his eyes shining. She is currently living. But if you want her to stay that way, you'll do precisely what I say. The screen turned black, and the warehouse was silent, interrupted only by the distant sound of a car coming. Jason and Drew exchanged glances, their differences forgotten for a moment. They were all in this together whether they liked it or not. The plot progressed like a tightly wound spring, with each moment adding to the last, dragging Jason and Drew deeper into Victor's trap. Anna's car came to a halt outside, and she entered the warehouse with her revolver drawn, unconscious that she was entering into the same trap. Britt, wherever she was banking on them, but Victor had all of the cards. The night went on, full of shadows and secrets, as Port Charles waited for the consequences of a game they couldn't afford to lose.